Hello, hello. Hi, friends. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. And I am happy to be with you as well. So, I'm gonna have a little bit of coffee. And I wish that you were here so I could pour you a cup. Just sitting together at the kitchen table and talking with friends and family about books, music, life in general, the goings on at work and home. This simple activity is one of my favorites. So I wanted to invite you here to my kitchen table in that spirit and extend that same hospitality to you in spirit as well, because that is something that I value highly. Hospitality, entertaining, making my friends and family comfortable and happy with beautiful homemade food and just a spirit of welcoming and a spirit of love and care. So, and of course, for me, that's impossible without coffee. In my family, it's basically a cult of coffee. Okay, I wouldn't go that far, but we all love it. So, today I have a little collection of books for you, and they sort of run the gamut from inspirational books to legends and tales from long ago, and sort of spiritual books. They come from a variety of different genres, a variety of different time periods. So, the one unifying characteristic, I would say, for this grouping of books is that they have had an impact on my life and on me and who I am as a person in some way, beyond the pure enjoyment of reading them, which of course is wonderful and a perfect end in itself for reading a book. I'm sure many of you just enjoy reading as well, and I love reading, but I count it especially fortunate when a book makes me think beyond just while I'm reading it, when it not only makes me think but changes the way I think over time. And some books, I feel that you can read them and you are not going to be the same person. And it's never been for worse, it's always been for better. I think that the level of empathy that is possible to experience as a human being, I think that fiction can expand that. I also think that nonfiction can be incredibly thought-provoking about experiences that are beyond the scope of my everyday life, and also from the perspective of gaining wisdom from people who have areas of expertise far outside mine. So, and it's amazing that we can share that cultural knowledge and share that humanity in these beautiful little packages, paper packages. So I get a little bit sentimental about books, and especially sentimental about this group of books. Several of them were gifts, so I really love when people make book recommendations, and I would especially love if you would like to share your recommendations, your comments about not only what books you enjoy deeply, but also what books have had a lingering impact on you, on your mind, on your life, on your spirit. I think that books can be so powerful. So I would love to hear, in lieu of us sitting together and talking about it in person, which would be so nice. In lieu of that, I would love to see your book recommendations just in the comments and talk with you about them. So some of these books I sought out because I had heard of them and I was interested in them. Others, as I said, were gifts. I think that a gift of a book is almost a deeper form of recommendation, right? Because someone takes the extra step to give it to you to make more certain that you're going to pick it up and have the experience of reading it. I think that's really valuable and beautiful, and so some of these books have that quality. And without further ado, I'll start on these beautiful books. So I'm going to show you the little pile first. Okay. Some have seen better days. There's this little one here. Some are in great shape. Some are well loved. Many of them are well loved. So I'd say these are some of my well loved books. But to get started, this tiny little pocket book here. Dickenson poems. What a beautiful little book. My favorite grandmother gave me this book when I was 16, I believe, for my 16th birthday. Just a gorgeous little book. She knew that I loved poetry, so she bought me a couple of poetry books I've really enjoyed over the years, but something about this book I really connected with. I was a little bit of a hopeless romantic and, a slight flair for the dramatic as a teenager. Probably that's true of a lot of teenagers, but I can definitely admit that it was true for me. So I really enjoyed the yearning and the longing and the kind of acute observations about people and about the world around her that she makes in her poetry. And not only that, but just the pure rhythm and form of the poetry is wonderful. And just a pleasure to read, a pleasure to say out loud. I really enjoy when others read poetry to me. It's one of my favorite things. So, as you can see, it's been very well loved. I'm going to flip through it. I like the little sound of the pages. I used to carry it around with me in my purse for years. It felt like I needed to have it with me. This is the formatting of the pages, which I think is great. Very simple and elegant. So I would say for this book, I love the form as much as the content. Especially love the form. I love when books are outside the standard sizes. I think that this tactile experience is more memorable even than the typical book size. So I will read you one of them. Also, I think I'm not sure if you can see this, but I really like how she uses em dashes in her poetry. Sort of an unusual punctuation style that enhances, just makes it sort of an iconic style that's really identifiable as an Emily Dickinson poem. So, we grow accustomed to the dark when light is put away, and when the neighbor holds the lamp to witness her goodbye, a moment we uncertain step for newness of the night, then fit our vision to the dark and meet the road erect. And so of larger darkness, these evenings of the brain, when not a moon disclose a sign or star come out within, the bravest grope a little and sometimes hit a tree directly in the forehead. But as they learn to see, either the darkness alters or something in the sight adjusts itself to midnight, and life steps almost straight. I don't know if you like the way that books smell as much as I do, but it is one of my favorite things. Moving on is this beautiful little book by the Zen monk Thich Nhat called How to Love. Thich Nhat was a Vietnamese Zen monk. I believe that he passed away just a few years ago. I would need to check the dates, but he was an advocate for peace in the 1960s during the Vietnam War, and went on to be a highly influential Zen monk in the West as well, as he was in exile from Vietnam for many years. He had a sangha in France, and I believe one in the United States too, and I think both still exist. So, I did not know about him or his kind of prolific teachings before I found this book. I was going through a time of great challenge where I was in a situation that I didn't see a clear path forward. I had tried all my usual strategies of managing difficult or challenging situations and learning through them, and it just still felt like something was missing. So I still remember the day that I got it really clearly. I went to a local restaurant just by myself early in the morning on a Saturday morning, thinking I would just take a little time to clear my head and just enjoy the sun outside. It has a beautiful patio, this restaurant, and they specialize in really wonderful desserts. So I got a big cup of strong coffee and had carrot cake for breakfast. That was my coping strategy, I guess. And then I thought, oh, I'll just go to the bookstore next door, which I did. I love that little bookstore. It was my first time there. This was several years ago. And it's interesting. Sometimes something almost seems like it has neon lights around it. I've had that intuitive experience in my life where, I don't know, for whatever reason, I'm just drawn to something, and this little book was on display, so it just seemed like a little ray of light was on it. And I thought, okay, I need to check this out. So I grabbed the little book and began to read it. First of all, the tactile experience of this book is really incredible. It has these really velvety matte pages and beautiful small size, which we talked about a little bit with the previous Emily Dickenson book. So, How to Love. I picked it up and it truly changed my life and helped me navigate that difficult situation. It was a situation in my professional life where I was kind of struggling to connect with with my boss, and it allowed me to see her in a different light. It allowed me to see others in a different light. And not only that, but I think that it improved many of the relationships in my life and my approach to relationships more generally. So just genuine human connection. It had a beautiful effect on that. I have always had a strong drive and desire to connect with other people. Having been quite bookish and yes, I guess this is a little bit personal, but yeah, having been very I'm gonna say geeky and introverted, I felt people's feelings deeply and observed people, but kind of was shy to connect with them for a really long time. And that's changed a bit in adulthood, but I think that it's still something that I need a little bit of effort in sometimes. So I think that this book contains tools that I personally found helpful. Okay, so I'll read to you a little bit from the back so you can get a sense of what it's all about, more of a sense. Zen Master Thich Nhat brings his signature clarity, compassion, and humor to the essential question of how to love. With offerings on being in love, physical intimacy, children and family, crushes, and much more. How to Love includes meditations you can do alone or with your partner to expand your own capacity to love. Thich Nhat is one of the best known Zen teachers in the world today. He has been teaching mindfulness practice for more than 70 years. His best-selling books on relationships include Reconciliation and Cultivating the Mind of Love. And it's from a series of books called Mindfulness Essentials, which I've only read one other book in the series, and maybe we can talk about that on a video sometime, but that one was helpful too. So that was in a different time of I was facing a different challenge. So it's called How to Fight, which is a bit of a deceptive title because it's really more about speaking directly and being gently assertive while remaining compassionate and not letting anger grow unnecessarily. So one concept from Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings I believe that this book touches on is the idea that as human beings, like, we're not just good or bad. We have the seeds of good and the seeds of bad both inside us, and whatever we choose to water and cultivate by mindfulness, or like on one hand, or like by fixating on anger or negativity on the other hand, those seeds will grow, and kind of we will nurture them by our own choice. I think that's a really cool idea. It's a cool metaphor. I found it helpful. So, as an aside, I'm going to flip this one too, because the pages are really nice. I'm going to give a little tap on this very beautiful matte, gentle paper. And I love the illustrations too. You see this little boy holding a cat, which I think is super cute. Beautiful illustration. It's really very simple line drawings. And great layout, topography, with matte pages, the whole feeling. The feeling of the book strikes me as peaceful. So it's another book where the form and content complement each other beautifully. Just really well, and enhance one another. I'll read you. There's one, let's see. Recognizing true love and understanding is the nature of true love. You can see there's just little digestible concepts on each page, and sometimes when I come across a book like that, I think I have thought in the past, it's a bit simplistic or obvious, but something this is different, because I think that it distills kind of complex concepts or concepts that could become muddy or difficult into these very crystal clear little gems of wisdom from somebody who's been contemplating these things and teaching these things and immersed in compassion for so many years, that he's kind of passing a little clear and pure jewel of wisdom right to us, and it's really nice. It helped me see things with more clarity that I had been thinking about for a long time. So I just really appreciate that. Let's see. Understanding is the nature of true love. Understanding someone's suffering is the best gift you can give another person. Understanding is love's other name. If you don't understand, you can't love. Recognizing true love. True love gives freshness, beauty, solidity, freedom, and peace. True love includes a feeling of deep joy that we are alive. If we don't feel this way when we feel love, then it's not true love. I really like this concept of just a few criteria that help describe genuine love and connection. So genuine love and connection brings us beauty, it brings us freshness, it makes us feel more solid, like our feet are on the ground, gives us freedom and gives us peace, and it enhances our joy and makes us more expansive. I think there is truth in that, and I appreciate I've come back to this section many times thinking, does this connection that I'm forming with someone, does it fit this criteria? Of course, no relationship is perfect, but I think the broad strokes of a relationship, if it's healthy, we will entail certain qualities. So when I came across this book as well, I did not have a partner, so I think that there's a certain longing in my picking up this book, thinking, well, maybe I will apply these concepts to a future relationship. But the great thing about it is that it doesn't just touch on romantic love, but all forms of love, like whether it's just from our colleagues to our children, to our families, nuclear families, larger families, and just extending to almost all beings. But part of it, part of the book and the benefit of the book was the loving kindness meditation that it talks about, and I started practicing that. It felt a lot of resistance to it first, but I can say that it really had a positive impact on my my mindset. So it just shifted how I saw myself, how I saw other people, and took me out of the kind of fearful mode that I was in, having dealt with a situation I wasn't sure how to navigate. So I went from that kind of panicked place to a place of calm and understanding, and extending understanding for other people, even those I found difficult. It's amazing how well that worked. For whatever reason, it almost transcends like logic, but it worked. Thank you so much for sharing some of my favorite books with me. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to share your book recommendations with me, and be sure to catch part 2 of this video on Friday of this week. So until then, take care.